everyone, and welcome to the pelvic floor video. Today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the pelvic floor, how you can make friends with this part of your body and understand how it works a little bit more. This can help you in pregnancy just to support your structure and maybe help alleviate things like backache or aches in the pubic bone. It can also help know what these muscles are doing and how they work for when we're in labour, if we have to get into a position where we're pushing our babies out. It's great to know how these muscles work. And of course, postnatally, it's really good to get in with some postnatal pelvic floor exercises just to help regain some strength and mobility from the inside out from as soon as you possibly can. What's really important to note is if you've had a very strong fitness practice in the past, maybe you've done a lot of yoga, a lot of Pilates, maybe you're a runner, a dancer, a gymnast or a horse rider, you probably already have a super strong pelvic floor. So you might find that the exercises we're going to do are a bit tricky because your pelvic floor might already be on pretty much all the time. So your effort is just to find them really gently and then work on the release and the softening as much as you can. You probably won't need to do loads of engagement because they're already going to be strong. So your work in pregnancy is on softening, relaxing and allowing your body to open and make some space. So let's make a little start for exercises to do during pregnancy to find and engage with your pelvic floor. You could be sat on a chair or a sofa, that's absolutely fine. Just keep your 2 feet firmly on the floor. You could be in easy pose, which looks like this, just having one foot in front of the other. Or if you've got any pillows or bolsters at home, you could kneel and straddle a bolster, which is pretty comfortable. Just consider that you've got lots of height so that you're not going to get pins and needles. Now just place your hands low down underneath the belly. So you're resting the edge of your hands along the knicker line and just bow the head down so you can just connect inwards. You can close your eyes if that's going to help, and I'm going to talk you through a few practices here. We're going to breathe into a soft belly. So just feel the belly, press into the hands and then exhale. Good. Now usually when we're not pregnant, before pregnancy and after pregnancy, we'd like to engage the pelvic floor on the exhalation. So we would breathe into a soft belly and figure out how we're lifting up through the pelvic floor and engaging through the tummy as we exhale. Now in pregnancy, if you're really used to doing your pelvic floor exercises like that, then feel free to carry on doing that. But we also suggest an alternative where we flip the breathing practice for pregnancy so that you're learning to release and relax as you exhale, because when we're in a kind of pushing mode, it's actually a big exhalation and we want those muscles to open and relax as much as possible. So we're trying to do a bit of retraining for pregnancy. So with that in mind, let's take the hands away from us and we're going to inhale and bring the arms all the way up. And as we do that, you might feel your pelvic floor already strengthen and engage. And then exhale, as we lower the arms, can you relax your pelvic floor completely? And we'll do that again. Inhale, bring the arms up, gently engage the pelvic floor, and exhale, come down. Now, what am I feeling? What's this pelvic floor? So inhale, I'm feeling the muscles between my legs lightly engage, as if I'm trying not to have a wee and as if I'm trying not to break wind. So it's literally the muscles that are attached around the pubic bone that run between my legs to the sit bone and the tailbone, and they act as a hammock of support for everything that's above there. They're also responsible for the 3 openings, the urethra around the vagina and the anus. So we really want to know how to engage and strengthen them so we are not going to get incontinent or have a little wee when we laugh, cough or sneeze. We want them to work when we're trampolining a few years down the line with our toddlers, and again we don't want to be having a little wee uncontrollably. So we need them to know how to respond and engage, but also for labour and birth we need them to be able to relax and release and create space. So we've got to play with these 2 different aspects. So a couple more times. We're going to inhale, gently engage through the pelvic floor as if you're trying not to have a wee, trying not to break wind, and then exhale, softening those very same muscles. Inhale, as you bring those arms up and feel those muscles engage, it might also feel like you're giving your bump a little hug. Those lower tummy muscles might also be responding. Exhale in your own time, slowly lower and relax the muscles. Inhale, look for that little bit of engagement, and it is only a little bit. We're only talking maybe 3 out of 10 in strength. So what we're not doing is bringing the arms up and kind of going, and really hoisting those muscles with all of our effort. It's much more subtle than that. So one more time, inhale, spread your toes. That's going to help you find your pelvic floor. And then exhale, relax your feet, relax your pelvic floor. Great job, you guys. So we'll give our shoulders a little shoulder roll here, and we're going to change position because sometimes when we're pregnant, we've got all this extra weight on our pelvic floor. It can be hard to feel that engagement and release in a seated position. So as we change our position around, we're going to come towards all fours. So start to get yourself set up there. It's quite nice to have a bit of padding under your knees for a little bit of comfort. So that might be a sheepskin or a folded pillow or some blankets, but just have some support under your knees. And then when we come into our all fours, just open your knees a fraction wider. So you've got slightly more support through that base. The toes might touch, and come down onto your forearms. So your elbows are going to be underneath the shoulders. The hands are on the floor. They might cross. Your elbows might be a little bit further out, but don't collapse through the back. Press into the elbows and bring the chin in so you feel like you've got a nice long flat back. Now you're going to stay in this position, and I'm going to come up and talk you through finding your pelvic floor muscles in this shape. Okay. So we're going to take that breath back into the belly, feel the belly expand, and as we exhale, just let the breath go. So we're just connecting with the breath. And then the second breath you take, just start to imagine that you're trying not to have a wee at the front of the pelvic floor, and you're also trying not to break wind with the muscles around the anus. And that's going to gently help engage all of the pelvic floor. And remember, it's just 3 out of 10 in strength, no stronger. So every time we inhale, we're just looking for a little engagement, a little hold. And then as we exhale, we're looking for a release. Go with that movement for a little bit longer. Inhale, little squeeze. Exhale, little release. Okay, so now we're going to refine this a little bit more. As you inhale, just focus on the muscles around the urethra. So the muscles you'd use if you didn't want to have a wee. We're going to inhale and lightly engage. Exhale, release. Now we're going to keep the breath slow. So breathe in and breathe out. And then with a little bit of a pace, you're going to squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze and release. And try and do that as fast as you can. So we're breathing in slowly, we're breathing out slowly, and we're just finding those muscles, turning them on, turning them off. So it's a real flutter around the urethra. See if you can get these 2 different movements happening at the same time, and then relax the front of the pelvic floor. Now we're going to take our attention around to the back of the pelvic floor and tune into the muscles around the anus. And this time with the breath, as we were doing before, we're going to engage and gently squeeze the muscles there as if we were trying not to break wind. And then exhale. And then inhale, squeeze. And exhale. Good. Keep going with that. And notice as you inhale how strong your pelvic floor muscles are. And release. Now, something to note in the back of your mind is that when we get really frightened, we're going to get really tense. So if we feel into this tension that we're creating on our inhale, as we squeeze the muscles around our anus and we feel the rest of the pelvic floor also engaging, that tension is going to create less space to help the babies come out. So this is a good way for you to find the muscles with the inhale and the squeeze and to strengthen them. And then also as you release, to make space, because that's what we're going to need when we're in labour and giving birth. So finding them on a little squeeze one more time, and then exhaling, releasing, making as much space in those muscles as you can. Look for softness. Great, so we've explored the front, we've explored the back. We're going to bring our attention in and around the vagina itself now. So this time, inhale, lightly squeeze. Remember, it's just 3 out of 10 in strength. Exhale, soften and open. Can you make loads of space all the way around your vagina and your perineum? Inhale, lightly squeeze. Feel the walls maybe come towards each other. Exhale, soften and open. So in this one, we really want the inhale and the light squeeze to almost be hardly there at all. We're just doing it to find the muscles. What we're really interested in is the exhale and the making space, the softening, because these are the muscles that we will have at play when our babies are descending and crowning and birthing. Now, this is all really good stuff, all really useful, and we're going to take this one step further. So just staying exactly in that shape that you're in, maybe having a little breather and relaxing the muscles for a moment because it takes quite a lot of concentration. And then we're going to do this one more time with an extra dimension to the breath. We're going to inhale and just lightly squeeze all the muscles around the pelvic floor, particularly around the vagina. And then exhale, make that space. And we'll do that again. Inhale, very light squeeze, hardly there at all. Exhale, make some space. Now we want to think about this making space. So can we even make a bit more? And what we're looking for now as we practice this next breath practice is making some space and a bit of a bearing down sensation. So this would really help with crowning, and if we need to just push the babies out a little bit, this is where this is going to come into play. It's also going to stop the baby sliding back so that once the perineum's nicely stretched and they've kind of come in and come out a bit, that we've just got that extra bit of welly just to help them come down and around and out. So this is called cafetiere breath. We're going to imagine our pelvic floor is like a coffee cafetiere, and we can only plunge down so much at a time. So inhale, that light squeeze. Exhale, release. And we're going to feel that space, and we're going to hold it there this time with a bit of muscular effort. Inhale again, and then exhale, gently bear down into that pelvic floor like you're plunging your coffee cafetiere down, and feel a bit more space. Hold this next level of pelvic floor awareness with a bit of muscular effort. Inhale into your ribs. Exhale, plunge down a little bit more. See if you can make a little bit more space. We're going to hold the muscles there just one last time. Inhale, exhale, one more, press down, and then inhale, release. So in that way, we found our pelvic floor muscles, and now we're using them as a tool to stop the baby sliding back. We're holding the babies in place, and then we're helping take them down a little bit further with our next exhale and with our next push. So that's a lot of information to get our heads around. So just take a moment, take a breath, have a relax. Maybe sit up out of your kneeling position, roll your shoulders, and we'll have one more little go. So when you're ready, coming back down into your position, bottom in the air, so we can take the weight off the pelvic floor and just find it a little bit more clearly. Pressing into the elbows, and then breathing again. Inhale, lightly engaged around the walls of the vagina. Exhale, release and soften, make some space. Inhale, lightly engage, just to find it. Exhale, release and soften. And it's this exhale, it's this space that we would hope our babies can just slide out brilliantly with the breath. If they need a little bit of help, we're going to use that cafetiere breath. So when you're ready, on your next exhale, we're going to hold those muscles in place with a little bit of effort, a little bit of tension. And we're going to inhale into our ribs, into our chest. So the babies aren't going to slide back up with that inhale. Now exhale, bear down a little bit into your pelvic floor. We're plunging that cafetiere down. Hold the muscles at that next level as you inhale into the chest. We'll do one more. Exhale, bear down, feel that sensation of pushing around the vagina walls and the perineum. And then inhale, completely release. Really well done, everyone. Just sit back up out of that one. Roll your shoulders. Take a big breath into a soft belly. A big sigh. And just notice now what you feel all around the pelvic floor. Now remember, every time you go to the loo, we're doing a pushing sensation. It's going to start training your mindset and your muscles into what it might be like if you do need to give your babies a bit of a hand with some pushing on the big day. So just know that you've been practicing this forever in some form every time you've been to the loo, and the next few times you do have a poo, just notice the muscles that you use, notice your body position, notice how you're going to close your mouth and bear down, and just know that's all good practice as well. I hope you've enjoyed our little pelvic floor demo, and if you've got any questions, come and join us in the community space and we will be happy to answer them.